I wanna fly high up to the sky. I'm living in the mountains. Everybody know the soil so fertile. If a man sit down naked, the seeds might grow. A delightful getaway from the hustle, bustle and tricks. Oh, what a natural fix if you don't like to mix with the politics. One issue I have to resolve. If I could sort it out, all problems solved. Every time I plant corn and it start to shoot, some idiot keep forking it out the root. Make country flowers in there, fork it up. Make country produce in there, fork it up. Country start to blossom. I don't know who or where they come from. Me blind neighbor say he saw a man resembling one of them politicians. I wasn't there, so I didn't see exactly who talking up me country. Riding on me donkey, transportation bliss. Me fireside bubbling a goodie. I hear rioting in the gas crisis. Surrounded by wild animals. What a vicious pack. But none of them does launch an attack. None of them poison us like Imbert and Sat. The hunt always on, I could say that much. And true, can switch it off like crime watch. My mission now is to put a stop to whosoever fucking me country up. Some say a man named Eric, George, Robbie and Patrick. Some say Capildeo, Paris, Kamla Basteo. Old man Bedu said this ain't nothing new. They fucking up long before 1962. If Butler was around, he might have tell we directly who fucking up me country.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Rebuttal. I'm Douglas Wattley, your host, and I am, as usual, extremely pleased to be here with you. I'm extremely pleased to have you tuning in as you have done for more than a year and a half. I sometimes wonder if I should continue with the program, and then I would get a reminder that I have some ardent listeners to the show, and I at least owe it to them to make a presentation on Wednesday evening, as I have done for the past year and a half. And so here I am this evening. We continue with the show. If you're in St. Kitts and Nevis, welcome. If you're in the St. Kitts Nevis diaspora, a special welcome to you. And as usual, we're going to spend maybe about an hour this evening. If there's a reason for me to go beyond an hour, I'll do that. I think I have the green light to do that. But we'll try and make it through an hour first and foremost. Now, in the past, people entered the political arena for noble reasons, noble purposes. It may have been to defend and to protect the working class. It may have been to procure the right of citizens to vote. It may have been to elevate a people out of poverty. it may have been to grant certain inalienable rights to the people and to protect those rights. In short, we know of persons in the past who were moral men, ethical men, and men of integrity who entered the political arena for the good they could do for others. We knew selfless politicians. We knew honest, law-abiding politicians. And the country was better for the work that these politicians did on behalf of the country and on behalf of the people. I need not call their names. You know who they are. And you know in your mind who qualify as these types of people who present themselves to us and who we vote into office. Politicians are expected and even required to make our government work. They are required to ensure that the government work, if only because government is the main instrument that takes care of the people of a country. Of course, in our system, the government works in concert or it works together with other sectors to make the country or the state work in favor of its people. So the government would work with the private sector, it would work with the volunteer sector, and it would work with the fourth estate, which is the media, to ensure that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. But it is the government that plays an oversized role in the development and ultimate success of a country. It follows that since the government plays such an important role in the sustainable development and ultimate success of the country, it follows, therefore, that we, the people, deserve to have our best and brightest in place to run our government. And even if we don't get our best and our brightest, we need decent people in government. I tell you that is not the case. I believe we have less than our best in government at this point in time. Unfortunately, it may not get any better in the foreseeable future. In looking at the people we have in government right now, I don't see how it's going to get better soon. In other words, I don't have a lot of hope. Now, the primary motivation of any government is service to its people. Anyone wanting to get into government must be committed to serve, not self, but the people of the nation. But we don't have that situation in St. Kitts and Nevis, you know. We have people who seek office and people who are in office not to serve the people, not to serve the nation, but to serve themselves. Politics, as we used to know it, have changed. And as such, it appears to me that politicians have changed. Nowadays, our politicians are more selfish and less selfless. Politics is a more corrupt sport than in the past. I have never thought that politics was clean, but boy, have we descended into an abyss. We have never thought of politics in St. Kitts and Nevis as being as low as we see it now. Just because politicians find themselves in church every week doesn't do us any favor, you know. They're trifling with God. That's what they are doing. Because how can you go into the house of the Lord and not confess your sins, but seek the blessing of the Lord, and then proceed to come out of the church and continue in the same life that you engaged in the same practices that you engaged in before you went in the church, before you sought forgiveness, and you recycle that. Because every week you do bad, and every weekend you go church, and the next week you do bad again, and then the weekend you go church. That is trifling with God, you know, and I keep warning you. Now, I'm sure you all remember when people used to get a bottle of rum for a vote. Some people used to get flour for a vote. Some people used to get rice and relish, chicken or whatever for their vote. And so I am not naive. I know that elections have always been transactional to a large extent. There's always been a quid pro quo. In other words, there's always been a situation where a politician comes up to you, probably never spoken to you, never seen you for 5 years. He comes up to you and he offers you something because he wants you to vote for him. That has always happened. It happens in every country in the world. I know people who come out and tell you plain that they ain't voting unless and until they get something, unless and until they get paid. I know that I was told that. I was in the last election, I was talking to somebody and they tell me plain out I got bills. Bills got to get paid. All right? Well, you know, that's not the kind of politics I practice. So I said, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I personally can't do nothing for you. I don't know if the politicians would, right? But that's not something I believed in. Now, if you ask me now what I believe, I might tell you something differently. Because I'm not a fool. I know that times change. I know that things change. I know that norms change. You may not like what is the new normal, but you should have thought about it before you attacked the old norm. So now the transaction has been elevated to another level. People expect to be paid for the vote. In the last election, the Labour Party got caught flat-footed. It failed to recognize that it was being outspent by Team Unity. Mark, I say outspent, Like I say, I am not naive. Every political party give a little here and a little there for a vote. But Team Unity took it to another level. And they caught Labour off guard. Labour people can't tell me nothing. They well know me to say what me want to say. And Team Unity people can't tell me nothing. Money means more than party loyalty. And the Labour Party missed that. To be honest, I miss it too, A lot of people miss it. Because I was thinking that there is no way Labour could lose up in number 3. I thought number 3 was Labour for life. But them boys come in with some money. And everything changed. Not all, I lie. A lot of the long time Labour people switch, get a little change, they switch. Money means more than party loyalty. Well, people in the Labour Party knew that money was passing, Because I know people who was telling me and telling them. People knew that money was passing. They knew that money was being spent on certain groups of people in number 2 and number 3. But look, I had also told you all what was what, I'm not a party advisor, So, you could say, some people that say may give ideas on the show. Now me talk on the show. Who want listen. Who want hear. Nobody don't consult me for my ideas, Except in the last election, Dr. Jew consulted me regularly. You understand? And that is why, in my estimation, Dr. Jew did way better than any one of them. I'm going to digress here, and I'm going to get some people upset. I'm going to pause here for a little bit. And I'm going to get some people upset. Let me tell you something. Dr. Jew was the best candidate in the election. He worked hard. He's a good man. He lost the election by 232 votes, which means that he had to overcome that deficit to win. And early o'clock, he called me and he said, boy, Wattley, I need your help. I said, look, I don't do what to do. I don't do them kind of campaigning things there. That's one of the things Eugene had vexed with me for. I don't do that. I say I'm a tactical person. I'm a strategist. Ask me how we going to win, and we could sit down and we could figure it out. And we would meet several Saturdays at his office. And we would discuss. He would tell me how things going, ask my opinion, we share ideas. I believe that he had a good handle on things. I, however, realized at the end of the day that he wasn't as well served by those around him as he could have and should have. Now, when I told him, Dr. Joe, I said, Dr. Joe, you can't go into an election unless you know the status quo, unless you know the situation. You have to know the situation, the existing situation. And essentially, that translates to who you believe would vote for you and who you believe you could persuade to vote for you. Well, what we missed was the category, who must you pay to vote for you? That's the part we missed. That's the part we missed. And I wouldn't have been in a position to tell that. But the people on the ground got to figure that out. You got to know that. Now, Dr. Drew told me that he counted the votes. I've never seen the results, but I take your word for it. You understand? Now, one of the things I've always said to you all is that Eugene knew his list. He knows his list better than anybody. Which means he kind of know who would vote for him. And then he had the added advantage of counting his votes. Something I forced him to do in 2014 leading up to 2015. So I knew that he would do that. Which means he had a decent idea, right, of what he needed to do. But, and I'm going to tell you this right now. I consulted in an election in another island a couple of years ago. And one of the things I noticed is that when you step in as the consultant, some people start to push up their face. Not because they think you're making money, but they become territorial. They figure that if a consultant comes in, they are likely to get the credit for a victory. You understand? And it's human nature. We want to say that we contributed to the victory. Some of us want to say it's because of we, why the person won. Success got a whole lot of parents, but not failure, right? And that is one of the things I think I noticed. Because by now you know I was not in St. Kitts during the election. I was one of them guys who got locked out. I never said anything. People didn't know because ordinarily people don't see me. All right? So I depend on the phone and consultation with Dr. Joe on the phone. But I'm going to tell you something. Coming down to the end, when the elections were being held, right? I asked for some information, not from Dr. Joe, but from some persons that he asked me to talk to. Up till now, I got information from one person, an old student of mine in KR. But it turns out she didn't have full knowledge, so she couldn't share certain things that I wanted to know. The people up in St. Peter's, by them they not take me on at all. And part of the reason why they never shared the information with me, in my estimation, is one, they thought that Dr. Drew would win. And so they wanted to be the parents of the victory. You understand? They thought that. But the other thing, the other reason they didn't share the information with me, which is what I'm going to upset some people with right now, is because they still were upset with me because in the previous election, I abused Douglas and I helped to change the government. And so they were still bothered by that. So they never shared no information with me. I ain't got a problem with that, because at the end of the day, we all lost. What you gonna do? You lost. You could have said, hey, what I got to lose? Let me let Wattley look at the numbers and see what he could come up with. And you know what hurts? It's because we lost by 23 votes. All we needed was about 12 persons switching their votes. Eugene knew that. That is why Eugene was in Keys with yellow envelopes, giving out before the votes. We didn't realize that the election had become so transactional. We didn't realize that the formula had changed. I wasn't there. I had been hearing things. I had been saying things, right? But you didn't realize that things had become so transactional. And you got caught short. One, because you figure that you didn't want to share no information with me. So I had no data. I couldn't say, boy, let's do this, let's call that, let's do this. You know, couldn't say nothing. But, like I said, we all lost. Maybe that's a lesson to some of us, that the next time you ought to know who in your corner and who ain't in your corner. And sometimes you ought to be willing to give up on some old grudges. I gave up on my grudge and I was helping. I could have decided, okay, me not like unity, but me ain't gonna help. I didn't like unity, but I was helping. And so that's just a lesson to those of you who had that notion. You didn't win. And you didn't win because you played a foolish game. I'm going to pause here, give you some time to stew and get upset at me. I'll come back.
I love being in the latest style and dress fine, or should I say classy. That is why I shop at First Class next to the taxi stand at Port Sante for fine gold and silver jewelry in precious, semi-precious and colored stones, diamond and crystal watches, and the hottest handbags and wallets. And when I want to buy a gift for someone, that's easy too. I just ask them to make me a gift basket, and First Class has the best prices at Port Sante. So no matter what the occasion, come on into First Class and leave happy, knowing you've gotten the best deal for your money. It's First Class at Port Sante, where quality, low prices, and top-notch service are second to none.
Spread the word. New and exclusive every Sunday from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Gospel Cafe with Carl B. Springate on KYSS FM 102.5. Tune in and connect with the Holy Ghost Connection with live interviews, Christian news, what's hot and what's not, in the now. Birthdays and anniversary shout-outs available, Bible Jeopardy, Beyond the Pulpit, and positive entertainment and ministry. Testimonies and the pastor's moment would spread the word. So tune in as we drop the latest gospel hits 100% flat. It's the Carl D. Springgate Gospel Cafe, Sundays from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KYSSFMonline.com and 102.5 FM. And be blessed like that.
One fashion accessories for really low prices. Check silver and cents. Check silver and cents. Beauty supplies and weave, genuine fragrances. Check silver and cents. Check silver and cents. Handbags so beautiful, your friends will envy how you look. With perfume, just smell your swag, you'll feel like you're in paradise. Watches, silver jewelry, and hair accessories. Check silver and cents in the Amri Mall on Deon Street.
Ready or not, hear my clothes, you can't hide. I'm gonna find you and make you one thing.
Ain't nobody tell me nothing. Can't tell me nothing.
I'm Shaniel Francis. Kyssfm 102.5 is proud to announce its brand new morning show, Backchat, the only place to hear the hottest music.
I'm local.
Check me area code, direct me area code. Anywhere me go, you know me cause you.
To international.
Ay, I go shopping, want it then I cop it. Ay, yeah, bitches popping, I do what they copy.
And have you informed with a range of topics.
So on Mondays to Fridays, tune in at 8 to 11.
You won't want to miss the vibes on
Backchat.
Ready or not, hear my clothes.
I wanna fly high up to the sky. I'm living in the mountains. Everybody knows the soil so fertile. If a man sit down naked, the seeds might grow. A delightful getaway from the hustle, bustle and tricks. Oh, what a natural fix if you don't like to mix with the politics. One issue I have to resolve. If I could sort it out, all problems solved. Every time I plant corn and it start to shoot, some idiot keep forking it out the root. Make country flowers in it, fork it up. Make country produce in it, fork it up. Country start to blossom. I don't know who or where they come from. Me blind neighbor say he saw a man resembling one of the politicians. I wasn't there, so I didn't see exactly who talking up me country.
Welcome back to the Rebuttal. I'm Douglas Wattley, your host. Well, let's get back to the issue of money and politics, or money and the vote. It is human nature to see the offer of money or the actual payment of money as a good deal when it comes to dealing with the vote. You feel obligated to vote for whomever gave you money or whomever offered something in return for your vote. I mean, you hear stories about big money being paid for votes in this last election. A lot of traditional labor people took money and voted for Team Unity. Many of us thought that number 3 would support Labour, like I said, until the end of time. Only that in the last election that didn't happen. Why? Money was paid. Money means more than party loyalty. Eugene Hamilton paid for votes in number 8 and won. Barely won after winning by 232 votes in the last election. Votes were bought in number 2 and number 4. But hear what I tell you. I asked the question, was it wrong? Is it wrong to pay for votes? Is it wrong for people to accept money for votes? It is illegal. And so, from a legal standpoint, paying or buying votes is wrong. But buying votes is now the new normal. And so if you don't get caught, or if nobody bring you up on charges before the court, it means you could get away with it. And it's just like thieving. If you could get away with it, you're gonna thief. Because a lot of people do thief. A lot of thief around, you know. But they're not getting caught. And so as long as you're not getting caught, nobody gonna know you're a thief. These people who thief the money from the Severance Fund, Andrew Libud and the boy from Labor Department. And now I am hearing, that somebody down in Lindsay Grant office included in this deal, with the Severance money, They tell me somebody down in that office, they got money as well. I hear that they're trying to convince her to pay it back. And they said, no, they're not pay back none. If they're not pay back none, lock them up. Lock them up. I know I'm going to go inquire about who it is. As somebody tell me so just this week. That somebody down by Lindsay office got piece of the Severance money. Alright? But I get back to this thing. If you're going to get away with it, as Team Unity got away with it, as CCM has been getting away with it for a while, right? Then it's the new normal. And so, when you tell me that that's the way it's going to be, I say, hey, if I can't beat them, I got to join them. And that's why I know that politics in St. Kitts and Nevis will not be the same. Money, I go run politics. But not just money for paraphernalia and meetings. It's going to be money in people's pocket for their votes. You hear me saying it all the time? I'm going to keep saying it. Here's what I'm saying. You would be a fool to vote for anybody except that they pay you. I wonder if I understand what I'm saying. Thank Team Unity for that change in the way we run elections in this country. You would be a fool to vote in the next election and not get paid. Let me show you a thing. The differences in this election were from the groups that got paid, All them Labour people who changed the vote up the village got paid. You don't think so? I'm willing to argue that. And if they didn't get paid, they should not feel very good about themselves right now, because a lot of other people got paid. Gang members got paid. And I'm not talking about the pay for peace. I'm talking beyond that. Gang leaders in St. Kitts got paid well, or at least those up in town. So if you in Keon and you're a gang leader in Keon, and if you in Sandy Point and you're a gang leader in Sandy Point, and you did not get in excess of $100,000+, if you did not get hundreds of thousands of dollars to make sure that your gang members voted for Team Unity, you were robbed. When I ask you, I tell you, you were robbed. Plenty money pass. And that's the new normal. Because as I said, you would be a fool to vote and not get something in your hand. Me ain't saying everybody can get 1,000. Me ain't saying everybody can get 100,000. You understand? Because that's just not how it works. But I'm saying, if you go vote and you ain't get a change, Douglas Wattley, I'm telling you right now, you're full of joke. Your values are misplaced. You know why? As I said last week, we are a post-moral country. We are a post-ethics country. We are a post-integrity country. We are a post-value driven country. That is what we have become. Honesty don't mean nothing. And so everybody think that they could go and thief. They could go and take bribes. A lot of those projects, persons who are bribed in government. Do you believe that the Old World project went off without any kind of palms and elbows being greased? Huh? It is unfortunate sometimes that but Doug, not say that. Let me not say that. Lord of mercy. Let me not say that there, Lord of mercy. Right? I am not gonna say that. I am not gonna say that. I would not say that. Now, I want you to see the other side of the issue. Because a lot of you just felt uneasy when I say, make sure you get paid next time anybody asks you for a vote. And don't feel badly about it. Feel good about it. Because your vote means something. Your vote worth something. And a lot of you feel uneasy right now. You know, some are abused. What choppiness you talking, boy? What you saying? What do you can't say them things? I thought you was a sensible fella. I thought you was a decent man. But it looked like you're one of them people who somebody just call intelligent dunce. Why would you say something like that? This is why I'm going to tell you I say something like that. It only bad if poor people get some. It only bad if the man on the street gets some. But have you ever thought that there are those of us, mark you, see what I say or no? Us. Just in case I know, remind me how me want things after the last the election before this one. You understand? There are those of us who align ourselves with political parties and help the political party in its quest to win an election. Not because we are being paid to vote, but because if we convince enough of you to vote and our party wins, there's a lot in store for us. You all understand what I'm saying there? That is how it works. That is how it works. And so what I am trying to tell you is that there is another kind of quid pro quo when it comes to election. There are persons who help the party campaign and help them to win the election because they expect to cash in when the party wins. Oftentimes, the anticipated reward is a job. Some people do it because they want a job. You work with the opposition or you work with the incumbent party and you expect to get a job. That is why the Attorney General worked so hard for Team Unity to win. You expect to be named managing director of X, Y, or Z. You expect to be named manager of said port. You all understand what I'm telling you? You expect to be made a permanent secretary. That is how it works. But you're not hearing nobody make no noise, you know. Because they may usually poor people. You understand? Some of us expect to get projects, to build roads, to build buildings, projects that are valued at millions of dollars. Right? I'm going to tell you something. When they were telling me that I should take a position in government when Team Unity had won, I said, no, I don't really want no position. I've been there, done that. I don't want to be in the chain of command. I said, however, if you got projects that you want handled and I'm qualified and capable, I'll take that. You understand? But you and I know that projects, you stand to make good money from projects. And some of them didn't like that. Tim didn't like that. The Attorney General didn't like that. You understand? And that is why they still owe me for a project that I did. I'm going to remind Gene until he dead or until me dead. You understand? But is it wrong? And hear my answer. It is legal. And as such, it's not wrong. It is not wrong to expect something in return for your hard work. And that is why I tell her all the time that, quite frankly, there's a lady who was associated with Team Unity that if ever she gets A, B, C, or D, that I would never object. I would never complain because I understand the game. You see, because when Team Unity had nothing, no money, and when Team Unity was in debt to the lawyers out of Trinidad, and time come for people to come up with money, well, me know that can't ask me for none because me ain't had none. Still ain't got. And nobody tall would pull the purse. This one person pull the checkbook, write out a check and say, hey, Take that. And don't be in any hurry to pay me back. I know how it works. You can't run an election without money. But you know the funny thing about that? While she was doing that, while she was making that commitment, and she couldn't have known that we were going to win. So she took a risk. While she was doing that, the big belly man was collecting hundreds of thousands of dollars in campaign funds, and he sat there and watched that lady pay her own money for the lawyer fees. And it didn't chop a stroke, didn't say a thing. Them they're no good people. Them they're no good people. But I'm reminded that sometimes bad people don't prosper. Bad people don't prosper. I'm reminded of that. I am reminded of that. And like I tell you, I don't think anything is wrong. And even though you may hear me talk about certain things, right? It's because certain things you do, the appearance that you give don't seem right. I'm not saying that certain people shouldn't get X, Y, or Z. But I saw another supporter of Team Unity put up on Facebook this week that there are a lot of square pegs in round holes. Which is true. And I'm saying it need not be the case. Because you can pay off somebody by giving them something that is commensurate with their experience, commensurate with their abilities. And you don't have to look so blatant. I'm going to take a break. And then I'm going to come back and talk again. Because I got to keep my blood pressure down.
I love being in the latest style and dress fine, or should I say classy. That is why I shop at First Class next to the taxi stand at Port Sante for fine gold and silver jewelry in precious, semi-precious and colored stones, diamonds and crystal watches, and the hottest handbags and wallets. And when I want to buy a gift for someone, that's easy too. I just ask them to make me a gift basket, and First Class has the best prices at Port Sante. So no matter what the occasion, come on into First Class and leave happy, knowing you've gotten the best deal for your money. It's First Class at Port Sante, where quality, low prices, and top-notch service are second to none.
Spread the word. New and exclusive every Sunday from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Gospel Cafe with Carl B. Springate on KYSS FM 102.5. Tune in and connect with the Holy Ghost Connection with live interviews, Christian news, what's hot and what's not in the now. Birthdays and anniversary shout-outs available, Bible Jeopardy, Beyond the Pulpit, and positive entertainment and ministry. Testimonies and the pastor's moment with Spread the Word. So tune in as we drop the latest gospel hits, 100% flat. It's the Carl D. Springate Gospel Cafe, Sundays from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KYSSFMonline.com and 102.5 FM. And be blessed like that.
One fashion accessories for really low prices. Check silver and cents. Check silver and cents. Beauty supplies and weave, genuine fragrances. Check silver and cents. Check silver and cents. Handbags so beautiful, your friends will envy how you look. With perfume, just smell just right, you'll feel like you're in paradise. Watches, silver jewelry, and hair accessories. Check silver and cents in the Amri Mall on Deon Street.
Ready or not, you're my clothes, can't hide. Gonna find you and make you want me.
Ain't nobody tell me nothing. Trying to tell me nothing.
I'm Shaniel Francis. Kyssfm 102.5 is proud to announce its brand new morning show, Backchat, the only place to hear the hottest music.
You're my clothes.
A From local
Check me area code, me area code. Anywhere me go, you know me touch the
To international.
Ay, I go shopping, want it then I cop it. Ay, yeah, bitches popping, I do what they copy.
and have you informed with a range of topics.
So on Mondays to Fridays, tune in at 8 to 11.
You won't want to miss the vibes on
Back Chat.
Ready or not, you're my girl.
I wanna fly high up to the sky. I'm living in the mountains. Everybody knows the soil so fertile. If a man sit down naked, the seeds might grow. A delightful getaway from the hustle, bustle and tricks. Oh, what a natural fix if you don't like to mix with the politics. One issue I have to resolve. If I could sort it out, all problems solved. Every time I plant corn and it start to shoot, some idiot keep fucking it out the root. Make country flowers in it, fuck it up. Make country produce in it, fuck it up. Country start to blossom. I don't know who or where they come from. Me blind neighbor say he saw a man resembling one of the politicians. I wasn't there, so I didn't see exactly who fucking up me country.
Welcome back to the Rebuttal. I'm Douglas Wattley, your host. Now we continue with this issue of getting paid for your vote. You either get paid up front, a couple of dollars to cast your vote, like the Spanish did in Newtown, or you get paid to get guys who look up to you and follow you to vote the way you ask them to, or you get paid like some of us who work on campaigns and work with campaigns. At the end of the campaign and the elections, you expect and you often get rewarded with jobs, with projects, with assignments. Some people get ambassadorships and so forth. All right? But it's the same thing. It's the same thing. In fact, it's better if you got paid because you supported a party and worked on the campaign and you are a friend of the prime minister, you are family to this and so forth. They get paid. And their payment keeps recurring over the time that the party is in power and the time that they work for the party. But to the victor goes the spoil. If you win the election, it's your party, and elections have consequences. So when Juicy Byron was named Attorney General, it was payback for being part of the immunity. It wasn't because he was the most qualified or best prepared for the job, but he was a player on the winning team. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, when I had asked him if they were getting paid when the legal cases were going through, he said, no, that's not how politics go. He said, when you win, that's when you get paid. That's what he told me. And so I can't argue with that. My argument with Juicy ain't got nothing to do with him getting the job as Attorney General. There are certain other nasty ways he has. Nasty things about him that I that causes me not to like him. May mind telling you may I like him? I ain't like him. The incoming manager, isn't this, the incoming manager at NHC is here, but Wattley, they getting a manager at NHC? Man, listen to me now, man. The incoming manager at NHC may have done time in prison for a crime involving money, but the job is a payback for his assistance and loyalty to Team Unity and to Eugene Hamilton specifically. Mind you, everybody gets something except anybody from Kean, eh? Sometimes I want to abuse me people from Kean, But I say, give them a break. I saw them be. Nobody from Kean seem to be getting any so-called big jobs under this government and Eugene Hamilton. And that is out of spite. Nobody asks me who may talk about. Find out or wait until they make the decision. Now, when the new managing director of the National Bank, right, was named, that is payback. Why else would you name an individual to a position that is essentially redundant? There's no need for it, right? And why else would you name that individual to that position when he is somewhere in the region of 70 years old? Huh? And then why else would you pay that individual somewhere in the region of 5 times what you pay a permanent secretary? Payback. It's payback. And if the wife of that same managing director in the National Bank gets to work in the same bank even after she made 62 years of age, and other people are forced out when they make 62 years of age, that is payback. Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. You get $500 for your vote. This is what they get for their support of the party. Y'all understand how it works now? You're beginning to get what I'm talking about? And the favors ain't done. There are a lot more favors for persons to get for their support. And if some persons got positions because they had sexual relationship with their male bosses in government, that too is a reward. That too is a reward. Now, but it's a problem when people get greedy. Because now I'm hearing that they are moving out the security company that has serviced the Development Bank for years, National Bank, for years, and moving in a security firm that could be traced back to the big belly fellow. That is not right. That ain't fair. That is wrong. It may be legal, but it's wrong. It's morally and ethically wrong. And morals and ethics supposed to count, but like I said, unfortunately, We're in a post-moral society. I am telling you, it is not good. Here is something else. The big belly fellow didn't only steal from the campaign, you know. He continues to steal. None of these guys in government can show their bank accounts because they would have trouble declaring the sources of their income. And that's a shame, because none of them are motivated by service. They're all motivated by money. They are motivated by ill-gotten gains that fatten their bank books. Now follow this. They, and I mean the government, have already sold out the people from Marriott. People from Marriott still can't get the severance fund, the severance pay. And people are suffering. If you think I'm lying about people suffering, we call the pictures of the lines of people wrapping around the building when Amway Bakery offered a free meal. You remember those lines? Eh? People need help. Things are worse now than they were before the election. And back then the parties were going around with food hampers for vulnerable persons in our communities. But you don't see that now. You don't see government helping nobody. People are still waiting on the $1,000 that the government offered them. People in Nevis hardly get anything from that. They're still waiting for the $1,000. People, like I said, are waiting for the severance pay. And now they have to deal with the fact that this government never liked PEP. And so they never liked STEP. And this move to say that they are regularizing people in the government is a way to wind down STEP. Because there's no way that they plan to absorb more than 3,000 people into the government to make you relatively permanent, which means you have to be paid. They're not going to do that, 3,000 people. Watch and see. They are going to find ways to dwindle down STEP. Because their intention was never to have STEP in the first place. Why? Because STEP was PEP, which was the idea of the former government. And so now they're going to find ways to weed you out, separate you from STEP. But that shouldn't be any surprise to any of you. That should not come as a surprise to any of you. That's just the way it is. These guys want you when they want you. You understand what I'm saying? They want you when they want you. I await the budget. Did they announce a date for the budget? I don't know, but I await the budget because I would like to see what the plans are for the upcoming year. It's not going to be pretty, people. It's not just because of COVID. We always knew that a vaccine was going to come. So we always knew that there was going to come a time when we are going to go back to some semblance of normalcy. And so the government knew that whatever incentives it put into the economy, whatever it gave to the people to survive the interim, it would not last for too long. And the government did not do nearly enough to help you out. And so your bank accounts are depleted. And they're not helping you. People are suffering. But some people say they paid for your vote, so you can't say nothing. But then I realized that some other persons who couldn't have voted in the numbers that you did, they benefited big times. They continue to benefit. And so this government is not a government for the masses. And I had my problems with the Labour government, but the Labour government was motivated to help the masses. These boys here, I don't know. They're probably motivated to help the asses. The few asses that are lucky enough to get the payouts for their loyalty. But I've always said this, and I said this before the last election, time longer than twine. And even though you went back and vote them in, I'm going to tell you again, hold on, keep the faith, time longer than twine. Because if you see they are going to weed out things like step and so right now, they're going to come back with that by another name or some other name. Because come next election, they have to find some way to tie you, some way to entice you to vote for them. Right? You need only be wise. And when you're making that decision, I know that money is going to factor into it, but you also got to look at the men and women who are presenting themselves to lead you for the next 5 years. Whatever decision you make is okay with me. Because one way or the other, my life doesn't change when it comes to St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm a pensioner. If I live long enough, I can get Social Security. Right? So I'm not really upset if you vote the way you want to vote. It doesn't mean I'm going to shut up though. I'm going to still tell you if I think you made a not so good decision. But then you ain't got to take me on. You ain't got to study me. On that note, I'm going to leave you there for the evening. Guys, you all take care and we'll talk again. Stay safe.
Yes! That's the man Big Lies again. 2020 Virtual Carnival. With me and Mark Wattley. How you doing, my boy? I hear Nevis nice. Ma'am, my Nevis friend, ma'am. Jamie, share the live, share the live. Just one Facebook live session serve to capture the nation's attention. This surprise reaction points to a thirst for information. Whenever there is rumor, one has to counter. Balance and truth always matter. When it's your reputation that's called into question, silence is never an option. We want to know, Timu, we want to know why you continue to undermine Maxo. We want to know, Timo, we want to know. Are you subtly telling Nevis they got to go? Tell us why should they accept your ongoing disrespect? Always interfering without informing. You well know that Mark is in charge, but you think you're larger than large. How did you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. How did you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. Ooh, Calypso man. They're gonna try all kind of things. They have their bully people on Facebook, hiding behind all kind of fake profiles. But tell them we're not afraid of them. Hey, paying them all kind of money. You use your bully pulpit, trying your very best to discredit, calling into question many a person's reputation. Honest men and women have been made to defend their good reputation, while on social media persons of dishonor spreading lies and propaganda. So we want to know, we want to know why you, Wallace and Andre does lie so. We want to know, Timo, we want to know where exactly did their campaign money go? Your threat of legal action was just a mere distraction. Meanwhile, hoping that we will forget about the money. But when we see your portfolio of property start to overflow, how did you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. How did you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. Yeah, man! Kyssfm! Franklin Brand, Gene Conda, what going on? Saman Dwyer, ungratefulness, worse than witchcraft. When one looks at your history, it's clear you have issues with loyalty. Because while in opposition, where did you turn for inspiration? I could well remember Franklin Brand and Gene Conda making sure you were looked after. But since you came to power, you have nothing to offer. Now it's just you, family and brother. So we want to know, Timo, we want to know how on earth you turn ungrateful soul. We want to know, Timo, we want to know. Not even Dwyer you consult anymore. Suddenly you don't like Sam, no respect, you don't give a damn. Ever since you arrived, you don't care if he survive. Forgetting those who help you up, that's the way ingratitude stop. How did you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. How did you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. Kyssfm man, Sharon Rattan, I want to say thanks a million. You saved the country a lot of money. But we need answers. We need to know about the severance money. I have one simple question. Please, Timo, can you tell the nation about their severance money? Is it being managed responsibly? Cause I hear in a rumor about a certain fella and a former labor commissioner. Is it true that the quick action from Sharon Rattan saved the country 1.2 million? We want to know, Timo, we want to know. Why you protecting Andre Liverstow? We want to know, Timo, we want to know. Just how far are you willing to go to shield him from any attack? Have you pledged to have his back? Are you just protecting or saving your own skin? Some of the things I hear you would do, Mr. PM, I hope that ain't true. How did you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. How did you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. Why? Hey, some man! We're asking hard questions. Remember, share the life, share the life, share the life. Hi, so Abonati Studio. Abonati!